Okay, most guys in home services will never break $100,000 a year, no matter how hard they work. And the ones that do, most of them are still going to be broke. Now, you can hustle, you can work long hours, you can take on more jobs, but at some point you hit a ceiling, and that's just something you can never break through. Now, as you grow, revenue potentials, they go up, but so does the risk. And this is where most guys destroy their business instead of scaling it the right way. They try to grow too fast. They're adding services that they have no business offering. They start spending money on stupid shit, going into debt before they even have steady customers. Then they try to look big and important instead of focusing on what actually matters. And that's exactly what we're talking about in today's video. The most common traps that home service business owners fall into and how to avoid them. Now, if you want to actually build something profitable instead of burning out or going broke, then keep watching. Adding too many services is the fastest way to overcomplicate your business. One of the biggest mistakes that home service business owners make is constantly adding on more services, right? The idea seems simple. More services equals more money, but that is not always true. Now, do not get me wrong, adding complementary services is a great idea, but too many guys get carried away offering everything to everybody and turning their businesses into a complete disaster. So for example, let's say you run a pressure washing business and a couple of customers ask you for some painting or to do some epoxy floors, right? Suddenly for you, it feels like everyone wants that service, but here's the reality. You had 2 people ask, and who knows if they're even serious buyers, but because it felt like a huge demand to you, you start adding on more and more services, and before you know it, you're running 10 different businesses and you're not really great at any of them. And the problem is not all services are equal, okay? Some require completely different training, equipment, processes. So instead of streamlining operations, you create a mess of complexity. And that brings us to 2 of the most important things to consider before adding any service, and that is time and marketing, okay? We're talking about owner-operators here, small businesses with just a couple employees, or it's just you. So you need to ask yourself, how are you going to allocate your time? How are you going to allocate your marketing dollars? Because you only have so many hours in the day and you only have so much money in your marketing budget. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Mike. I have owned home service businesses for over 2 decades. I'm the co-founder of Quote IQ, and I run a company that creates business and marketing training for home service pros. And something my business partner Justin and I talk about all the time is where our focus needs to be. Where should we spend time and money for the best return? And because this goes the same for you and your business, you can only promote so many things, right? So you better know what is the most profitable. Are you going to spend an hour cleaning a driveway for $150 when you could be making $800 cleaning a roof in that same amount of time? And that's just one example, but I think you get the point. So now I want you to drop a comment down below. What is your most profitable service? In my pressure washing business, it's roof cleaning. So that's where we focus all of our time, our energy, and our marketing. Now, the only time adding a service makes sense is when it makes you more money or balances your seasonal workload. This is something that we all know, right? For example, installing Christmas lights pairs well with exterior services like lawn care or pressure washing because it provides winter income when your primary business slows down. But if you keep adding services that compete for your time during peak season, you're just going to spread yourself too thin. You're chasing pennies instead of building something that is sustainable, and that is what we want to do. And then when you start hiring employees, training becomes a complete nightmare, right? If you're offering 30 different services, no one on your team will ever be proficient at all of them, right? So I suggest that you just keep it simple, right? Another thing, if your revenue drops below 50% in certain months, then you need to figure out how to balance all of that out, right? Find services like snow removal, gutter cleaning, Christmas lights like we just talked about. Things that let you keep earning when business is usually or traditionally slow, like the winter, right? We hear about that all the time. The internet is full of, oh my God, what am I gonna do in the winter? Well, you gotta figure that out before the winter comes, okay? Now, adding too many services isn't the only way that guys ruin their business. The next mistake, it's even worse. It's the reason that so many businesses fail before they even get off the ground, and it has everything to do with what you are spending your money on. And trust me, this is a huge problem, especially in today's social media driven world. Now, I am not talking about social media like this because this is really good, where you're learning, you're growing, and you're getting real business advice from somebody that actually has a proven track record. I'm talking about keeping up with the Joneses virtually. okay? Social media is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a great place to learn, right? Like this video, I hope you're learning. On the other, it's a toxic wasteland of people that are pretending to be successful. You have seen them, the ones who mock beginners, that talk shit and act like they have it all figured out. But the funny thing is, these are the same people that spend more time in Facebook groups than actually running their businesses, and their businesses have never grown for the past 15 or 20 years. So how great can they actually be? It just doesn't add up. But here is where social media gets dangerous, right? New guys see these fleets, right? These trailers, the shiny new equipment, and suddenly they feel, as a new guy, that they need to keep up. Now, it happens in every single industry: roofing, HVAC, lawn care, pressure washing, you name it. And I get it, right? New guys, they want to look the part. They want to walk the walk. They think that having the nicest truck and the best gear means that they've made it, right? And sometimes the gear does help. In fact, good gear will make you more efficient. But oftentimes, at least more than not, it leads to regret, because they don't see how many of those business owners are overextended, drowning in debt, and stuck paying for equipment that just sits idle in the yard because they don't have any jobs, okay? They should have started small, they should have grown smart, and they should have put their money where it actually matters, into sales and marketing. And let's not forget about all of the folks that are selling the equipment, right? The lenders and the sales reps who are selling a dream, right? They've got this pitch, right? Special deals, but it's high interest financing. Just one job a month covers the payment. And technically, yes, that is true. But getting the jobs to cover it, that is an entirely different story. So be smart, do your research. And you're probably saying to yourself right now, hey, Mike, you're being a hypocritical asshole, because I have heard you specifically on numerous occasions say, get How to Wash 2, just one house wash pays for the training. And I do say that, and that is true. One house wash pays for the couple $100s that we charge, and it's half price right now, so you can go check it out. There's a link below. Anyway, but yes, I say that, and I say that with good reason, because we are giving you something that you can take. It is yours forever. You pay for it once. It's not a recurring monthly fee with high interest rates, right? It's a cheap one-time payment. You get the education, you get the training, you get everything that you need to start a successful business, whether it's pressure washing, whether it's line striping, Christmas lighting, solar panel cleaning. We've got a ton. So you can check that out at pwcourse.com if you want to. Another shameless pitch, but it is what it is. And technically, what they're saying is true, just like what I'm saying, except getting the jobs to cover all of that, it's a whole different story. So be smart, do your research, understand where you're at in your business, where you're at financially. Don't blow all of your money on equipment before you've built a steady customer base. So I want you to focus on customer acquisition, right? Build a strong marketing foundation so those customers, that lead flow is going to be there consistently all year round. And then once you have consistent cash flow and you've got steady jobs, then that is when you reinvest in better equipment without the stress of debt crushing your business. Another thing is, a lot of guys believe that more trucks, more employees, and more revenue is the key to success. But this is the reality. If you're not profitable, growth just creates more problems. And that's exactly why I made the decision to scale back and focus on what actually mattered, and that is profit, not just gross revenue. Like I've told you before, we used to have 10 trucks on the road. We had 12 guys running around. We scaled fast, growing well over 7 figures in revenue, and it didn't take a whole lot of time to get there. And it felt great, right? I thought I had made it. I was a real big timer. But then the economy came in and kind of shifted my perspective, not by choice. And that's when I stopped expanding and started scaling down. And instead of chasing bigger numbers, I focused on raising prices and targeting the right customers, and basically cutting out all of the waste, right? Getting leaner, making sure that my overhead was in check. And one thing about me is I am cheap as fuck. Probably one of the cheapest people that you've ever met. And that actually worked in my favor, because I didn't need to impress anyone. I didn't need to flash fancy shit and brag about what I had or buy things just to show off online. None of that does anything for your bottom line. And I was lucky enough, I saw it early on. Anyway, instead, what I did was I kept things very lean, very efficient, and I ran my business as smoothly as I could, right? I doubled down on high-end services and customers who actually paid what we were worth, right? We maximized profit on every job by eliminating low-margin work and cutting services that just weren't worth the hassle. If it was a pain in the ass and we could make more money doing something else, that we just dropped it, right? And by following this model, we were able to scale revenue significantly with just a couple of trucks, with less stress, with fewer headaches, and no unnecessary expenses. And if you want to grow, that's fine, right? But do it in a way that is actually smart, right? And when you actually hit capacity, that's the key. Once your current trucks and employees are fully booked and you've raised prices as much as you can, that's when you add more trucks. That's when you add more employees, and that's when you scale up the right way. So, the path to real growth and profitability, right? Most guys, they're not going to listen. They're going to keep making these same mistakes. They're going to be wasting years of their life chasing after the wrong things. But if you've made it this far, you're not like most guys. You're serious about building something profitable. So do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and drop a comment below. What's the biggest mistake that you have seen home service businesses make in your experience, right? And I read every single comment and I reply to pretty much every single comment. So let's talk, let me know, and I will see you in the next one.